Okay, so question number two. So in this question, we're not really asked anything specific. What are the basic algebra problems? So I'm going to go through with what the Janine The Tutor wrote over here to help kind of guide the answer to this question. So to determine, this is what we got to figure out, just an overview of basic algebra problems. There's a one-step problem and two-step. So they have one step over here and two-step. And then they have slope over here, slope, intercept. So they go through a couple of problems. We'll go through these. So first one-step problems are those solved using a single step. So I'm assuming step by division, multiplication, subtraction, addition. This involves variable on one side of the equation and everything else on the other side by doing the opposite operation. So yep, just like we thought. On both sides of the equation or equal sign. So here they give us just a simple algebra problem. We have 3x is equal to 6. So the goal for this example, is to isolate for x, and in this scenario we just divide by 3 on both sides of the equation, and we end up with x is equal to 2. So we know 3x divided by 3 will give us x, 6 divided by 3 will give us 2. So there's a one-step algebra problem. So two-step, we get a little more complicated over here. So if we had the following example, so here what they're saying is it's two-step because for us to isolate for the variable, which is y in this scenario, we need to do two operations. So we can see the first operation over here is multiply and the second is addition. So we'll go through this. Just give me a second. I'll just erase this right here. Okay, so we have this equation, y minus 1 divided by 3 is equal to 2. So we want to isolate for y. The first step is multiplication. We want to get rid of the 3 in the denominator. So we multiply both sides by 3. We use a different color over here. So we'll say times 3. So I'll use a dot for 3 instead of an x so we don't get confused. So multiply by 3, and then I'll put brackets over here, and I'll multiply by 3 on this side as well. So we can see that this 3 up here and this 3 down here get cancelled. And we're left with 2 times 3 on the right side. And what this gives us is 6, and we're left with y minus 1 on the left side. So that's the first step over here, similarly to what the tutor did over here. And then the next step is we add 1 to get rid of this 1 on both sides of the equation. So I'll do the same thing. I'll use the same color. So we'll say plus 1 and plus 1. So for the equation to hold true, we have to do the same thing on both sides of the equation. So it doesn't affect it at all. All we're doing is just algebra to get to our final answer. We can see that the 1's cancel out, and we're left with y is equal to 6 plus 1, which is 7. So here they get the same answer, and this is correct. So next example is for slope. So in a scenario where we're calculating for a line, or we're given 2 points, so here they're saying the m represents slope. So let me erase this over here. So we know the equation for a line is y equals mx plus b. So m is a constant, b is a constant, y is a variable, and x is a variable. And the x, y variables are just the ones on the coordinate diagram. So we'll have x-axis and y-axis. So here we're given 2 points, 0, 1 and 4, 3. So I'll write these over here, 0, 1 and 4, 3. 4, negative 3. So this will be about, 0 on the x, 1, so it will be somewhere over here, and then for negative 3 we have somewhere over here. So it'll be something like that, and we're trying to find the equation for this line that passes through these 2 points. Okay, so what we want to do here for this slope is kind of algebra, just plugging into this equation and finding the slope, and then we can use that to determine the slope. So we can say this is x1, y1, and then this is x2, y2. So we know the slope. So looking over here, we have y2 minus y1, so negative 3 minus 1. So y2, which is negative 3, minus 1, which is y1. And we have x2 minus x1, so divided by x2. Oh, whoops, let me write that what that is. x2 is 4. And x1 is 0, so minus 0. So we can see on the top we have negative 3 minus 1, so that'll give us negative 4. And on the bottom is just 4 minus 0, which is just 4. So negative 4 divided by 4 is just negative 1. And that's the slope. So if we're given a slope kind of problem, this is how, with 2 points given, and we want to find the slope for this line, we can do that. So now we know that the equation is y is equal to negative x plus b. So the negative here is negative 1 for m. So the question doesn't go on to solve for b, but let's say you wanted to do that. All you have to do is sub in one of these points. So if I substitute in 0 and 1 to this equation, we know 0 is x, so it will be 0, and then y will be 1. So we'd have 1 equal to 0 plus b, and we know b is equal to 1. So we know that the actual equation is negative x plus 1. We can also verify this by plugging in the second point, so this point over here, 4 and negative 3. So we know y is negative 3 on this side, and if we plug in 4 for x, we have negative 4 plus 1, which is negative 3. So this equation is correct. Okay, so the last example given here is so these are problems that involve slope-intercept. So they're giving a slope-intercept problem. So the slope-intercept line between 0, 1, and 4, 3. So 4, negative 3. So they go on to answer. So do what we did here. They substitute in y equals mx plus b. They put in the negative 1. They know at if we plug these values in, we'll end up with positive 1 for the b, and they end up with the correct answer. So similarly to what we got, this is correct. So here they give a quick summary of how to do this. So this is just a general overview for some common algebra problems that you could find in your homework or on a test. So correct answer. Great job with explanation. Okay, we'll mark this as correct, and we'll move on to question number 3.